Got my speaker today. I got my speaker today. I got my speaker today. I got my speaker today. Hey, gourmetbae, what's up? What's up? What's up? What's up? I had already been crying. A key. I'd already been crying. Madeline already came, so it ain't even the fact that Madeline's here or she's coming or anything like that. It's honestly just pure tears of joy, gratitude, when I think about everything that is happening, everything that's to come. Just Ashe, confirmation verb, just being in the present moment. Like, bruh, that's the gift. And it's like, I don't even feel burdened or feel like, dang, let me record before I take my nap, because I gotta prep for breakfast. It's not even that energy. It was the energy of excitement, because again, my nervous system has now caught up to this version of me that's being held right now. You know what I'm saying? That's representing physical evidence. Like, I have so many times and testimonies and lessons that it's evident, and that I am the evidence, time and time again. Favor, protection, covering. You know what I'm saying? Me being obedient. And with obedience comes discipline. And with discipline comes obedience. I mean, they go together real bad. The two cannot be separated. It just, no. They go together. So when I was opening my book, I did ask for, a flow. And the immediate word I heard was prayer. So let me grab my other handy dandy G book and we'll talk about prayer. Okay? Because if you didn't know, I'm here to let you know that it's a contract that it's a non-negotiable contract, basically. All right, so actually, I read this about grief when I was covering the last time of Autonomy Bay. When was that? 1 June in May. Yeah, May was rough. May was real rough. And I realized that I was grieving during that time. During that time, I was grieving a lot of things. I was grieving my old life, that I had, because I mean, shit's just different within a year. You know what I'm saying? And so I was grieving real bad, and wow. Now it hit me. You know what I'm saying? Is this the right phone? This ain't the right phone. Hold on, because storage, I ain't got time. Hold on, y'all. All right, we back. Yeah, grieving. My old life, my ways of going about things, doing things, people, all types of things. Because it was really hitting me that those that offered and volunteered to be sacred spaces weren't actually safe in sacred spaces. And I just, baby, I had to grieve. I had to grieve. And during that time, 10 days into my grieving, that's when another lesson showed up. I'm gonna sip to that. Got the coffee here. All right. I say, guilt is not power. Desire is not discipline. Okay. I want to touch on prayer today as a non-negotiable and a way to keep yourself protected, covered, and one of heaven's favorites. You know what I'm saying? And have your angels activated and everything and ancestors in your life, because it's a non-negotiable contract. And these are my notes. I'm teaching off of my notes way back from March 2nd, 2025. Just want you to see that. So this is from last year. And I want to share with you. I needed y'all to see that, see the evidence, see the proof right here. Because if I wrote this a year ago, that means that that's something that I'm still embodying to this day. And it's okay. So again, guilt is not power. Desire is not discipline. So when you pray, prayer is a daily system. Systems run on structure, not emotions. So pray as designed. And the design is the Most High's order. Excuse me. Big confirmation burp. Let me run that back for you. Prayer is a daily system. Daily, meaning every day. So I want to reiterate. That's why they gave me, you do life. You don't do shit else but life. You live intentionally faithful every day. That's what I told you to do. That is your assignment. That was the agreement before you brought your ass down here. You understand what I'm saying? So all of the grief and all of the, crying and throwing tantrums and things like that, that was already foreseen before I got here. But that still did not mean you just stop the agreement, you stop the contract, you stop the assignment because you're in your feelings, you're in your emotions. And that is, wow, what I'm being reminded of today, because today I did. Again, here we go. I got in my feelings. Now, Source is not going to ignore or pretend that what you're feeling isn't real, isn't valid. You are a spiritual being having a human experience, and humans feel. But then that's when you have to separate yourself from just, some of us are not just human. I just said spirits having a human experience. This is just a vessel. And this vessel cries, but the spirit does not stop because the vessel is feeling pain or emotions. You're not even wired or designed to stop the program because you're emotional. And do not allow emotions to override the design. Systems run on structure. If you don't have structure in your life, because under structure, there's a building, a deeper divine dive of infrastructure. And within that infrastructure is some more structure. Order. So systems run on structure, not emotions. Ashe. Systems exist where the Most High is. So how will I know, you know what I'm saying? And people be like, well, how will I know if I'm in alignment? Do you have a system? And for me, it's easy for me to tell those that are not really just tapped in like that. They're just using source and spirits and angels and stuff, but they don't really have a developed dynamic with them because they don't have a system. Because where the Most High is, that's where your systems are. Your structure, your house, your infrastructure, your building, your garden, because that was what was planted within you. Whatever controls your prayer life controls your power life. Prayer that is not designed will eventually be delayed, and what is delayed will eventually be denied, not by the Most High, but by life. Prayer needs structure for daily life. Prayer is protocol, and then we can put a verse on it. Proverbs 24-27. Order and structure before enjoyment. Patterns and systems. So I'm going to run that back. We're going to dissect this right here. Whatever controls your prayer life controls your power life. And a lot of us be wanting to have power, but we don't necessarily have authority to even use that power. But we're going to make it look like and seem like we have jurisdiction to do so, and we don't. But it's good, because when you're a trespasser, you will get what's coming to you. Okay? Don't be a trespasser. So prayer that is not designed, and remember, design is the Most High's order. So prayer that is not of the Most High's order will eventually be delayed. And what is delayed will eventually be denied. But not by the Most High, though, by life. And I love this because it goes back to what I continue to say. If life, not even if, life within itself is real enough to bliss you, so life is also real enough to test you. And it's going to test your structure. So if you don't have prayer as your protocol, as your structure, as your infrastructure, as your base, foundation of you even building the building, the whole design, all of that shit's gonna fall down. Or it ain't even gonna even have the chance to even be built because access denied before, you know what I'm saying? Sometimes, like now, Source is working so fast. Like, y'all, I cannot even express to you how fast Source been working. Shit's been coming like instantly, okay? Ashe, instantly. So it ain't really time to be playing out here. And I'm also grateful that I saw a video before I even posted. I even made posts for today. I ain't even made posts for today. We just focusing right here in Gourmet Paradise. I was about to stick my nose where it didn't belong because I'm a business owner, and I felt like, you know, maybe I need to give some advice as far as being a business owner. Great advice. It was just, now is not the time for me to be in places that doesn't even concern me or involve me, because what people are talking about and complaining about, that's not even how I operate my business, and that's not even how I get down. I don't even do half of the shit that people, you know what I'm saying? People have been saying other businesses and things like that. So I don't have to involve myself, and I'm not even going to concern myself. What I am going to concern myself with is the intentional actions that I embody on a daily basis. What I am going to concern myself with is the fact that I've arrived. That's what I'm going to concern myself with, because this is new territory. I ain't even been here before. So that's what I need to be curious about. I don't need to be curious or putting my 2 cents in elsewhere. No way. And speaking of 2 cents, I've been blessed with 2 cents within 2 separate days of each other. All right. Period. So you know what? I stopped being denied by life. I stopped actually getting denied by life. I got tired of being denied by life. And by me being tired of being denied by life, that actually prompted me to change my lens. So if you didn't watch the previous video before coming into this one, I encourage you to do so, because you need to change your lens. If you have the lens of pain, but you want peace, you're going to have to be in that in-between spot, that threshold of development for a long time, because there are some unhealthy habits that have become a you that are not you, that you have to just reprogram, baby. And that's going to take some time. It's not instant gratification. And that answers the why. Because then you just know. Because little by little, you begin to experience it. Because with your effort and in doing so every single day, eventually, yes, everything folds and bends to your will. That's the magic. You are the magic, but you are the engine to get it going. Nobody else puts something in you except for the Most High. Ashe. So now, instead of being broken, well, actually whole. And my divine partner who is meant for me, that's another whole. And together we'll have a continued wholesome life, because my life was wholesome before I met him, as his was wholesome before he met me. It was just divine timing. Bink. I won't forget about that. That's something that I actually do desire. And I don't lose hope on that. No, absolutely not. Because through that in-between thick of it, that threshold, I had to learn and be developed to ask the right questions. I also had to carry that very same thing that I may have required. I had to make sure that I had that within myself first. So that's the beauty. When you get you together first, everything else falls into your favor. But it's not when something else comes to me, then that's when I'll do. No, do now. Move now. Change now. And once you set your system, you have your order, then you can play a little bit. Not all the time, but you can play a little bit. So what I learned is prayer is a petition. It's a legal communication between an authorized citizen and a governing authority. Repetition is the mother of mastery. Repetition is the mother of mastery. Prayer is policy. Stand on rights. Alignment moves, not verbiage. So when your actions don't match your lip service, you're not in alignment. How many of us give lip service, but what we be saying ain't matching up to what we actually be doing? And see, that ain't the case over here. Because what we say, we actually be doing. Oh, okay. Prayer is giving the Most High permission to enforce the will on earth. Prayer is an authorization. Passion without authorization is noise. But authorization with understanding is power, or even comprehension. Authorization with comprehension, that makes you powerful. You're powerful because you actually know how to pray. And because you do pray, that contract is enacted every day, bars. But if you talk about when you're not being about, you actually don't have no power. You actually don't even have authority. You really should be quiet. Why would you want to use something or do something and you have no knowledge of how it needs to be done? Why would you move on something without researching it first? Why would you do that? That makes no sense. You would just mismanage. You would just mess it up. You're setting yourself up to be powerless at that point. So people can be passionate and have so much passion, but no authorization, no authority behind the passion that they claim to have. That's why things just burn out. That's why when people start stuff, it was just a little spark. It wasn't no fire, you know what I'm saying, to ignite it, you know what I'm saying, because it wasn't real. It wasn't alignment. It was just verbiage. Zip it. Prayer is not about prayer is not about getting the Most High involved in your life. Prayer is about keeping heaven legally involved on earth. Because, baby, do you not know? And clearly you don't know because you can't see them. But it's a lot of stuff happening around you. Can't see. Sometimes some of us can see, but you can sure feel, because that energy is real. Okay? Baby, you want the protection. I guarantee you. Because when you're vulnerable, at times you're going to be vulnerable, where you're not even going to be able, your sensors ain't even going to be on, ain't even going to be clicking, and you're going to need help to enact on your behalf to keep you safe. Okay? Because really, it is very bothersome when people be like, oh, I just, like, you know, like prayer is a fucking task. Good job, when people have closed off their channel, it's hard to hear. And so be mindful instead of having your mind full when people be like, well, I don't hear God. I be praying. You don't be praying. You stop lying. You don't be praying. You be asking for shit. Like they just entitled to give it to you or something. Your whole life should be centered around prayer. Your whole life should be centered around the Holy Spirit. Because with that, then your lens change. And then I'm telling you, you experience life on a whole different level. That's why life is orgasmic for me. I'm in structure. I have boundaries. And not only do I have boundaries, you know what I'm saying? I am kept in boundaries with source. I'm not everywhere because I ain't supposed to be everywhere, baby. I'm too special. You know what I'm saying? Precious cargo, baby. A non-perishable. You know what I'm saying? I'm on the top shelf, so I'm just out of reach. Not everybody can get up there. You know? Yeah. So just don't allow the connection to get disrupted. Keep the connection, baby. Keep the channel open flow. And that's why when you jump into my love boat, to the sea, the self-emotional apothecary, I serve as your grounded reminder. I anchor you in the deep so you can connect and be reminded to keep the channel open. Keep the flow. Okay? Sustain that contract. That's one. If you don't keep nothing else, keep that for yourself. It's for your sake. Ashe, it's for your sake. So, go from desire. Excuse me, Ashe. Go from desire to design, and from occasionally to occasional activity to daily operation. So go from desire to design, and from occasionally / occasional activity to a daily operation. Yeah. Every day. Prayer, non-negotiable. Before I even talk to anybody, do anything, get my day started, I'm making sure my contract still good. Hey, we still good? Yeah, that's what you need to be doing every day. And you can start with thank you when you rise up and you have breath in your body and you're actually able to enact your change on a new day. That's been a consistent build-up, you know what I'm saying, of your habits, of your choices. That's why y'all be falling short. Stop that. I'm telling you. Don't be a drifter. Somebody had asked me, a couple of days ago, like, what were you doing before this? Or, you know what I'm saying? Like, a part of me, I was drifting. I was straddling the fence. I was halfway in, halfway out. That's what the fuck I was doing, but I was also learning. I was becoming. I was practicing, mastering. You know what I'm saying? I'm grateful for that. I'm sustained by order. Order! Okay? And then it says discipline your body. Physical management, train your body. Discipline your body. That's why I work out. Like, you know what I'm saying? People be saying all types of shit. Oh, you're just so skinny. Bitch, I am in the most healthiest state and healthiest space I could ever be in. Believe it or not, I used to be smaller than what you're looking at now. You don't know my story. And it's sad that you've never been curious enough to ask. You just went ahead and started judging. But that was your misstep, not mine. So I'm not going to internalize it and take it personally, because I do love myself in all versions and in all seasons. So you're not going to make me feel bad because you out here looking like a can of biscuits, ready to burst open. I know it's hot. So you just couldn't help yourself. You wanted somebody to feel miserable just like you. But no, it's not here, bitch. Same with the men. What are we talking about? I don't have the proportions that you have. And with my knowledge, I don't want that because it's not healthy. So what the fuck are we talking about? What are you really saying? Out of anything, you should be taking my notes. Out of anything, you should be actually getting you some detox tea and getting them parasites out of your body. But see, when you come from a chain of parasites, you ain't got no other choice but to be infected. You know what I'm saying? Study the line. Be safe now. Find you something safe to do. Go play somewhere else. But you're not finna get your ass over here and play in my realm. And that's also what I teach my babes. No one is going to play in your face. Absolutely not. And that is the importance of prayer, keeping that contract open, keeping it active, because sometimes there are going to be battles that are going to be bigger than you, and you ain't even going to have to lift a finger, baby. Just simply having that contract open, you've been avoiding a lot of things that you can't see. Discipline your body. I discipline my body because it's a non-negotiable, because I have to, because if I don't, I perish. Private prayer. Prayer is law. Are you performing or aligning? Secret first, reward later. Private prayer is the source. You and source and no one else. Private prayer is actually preparation. Hypocrite means actor. So a lot of people are acting. A lot of people are performing. They're not actually really, aligning. And the prayer is law. Vocabulary is not validation of effectiveness. Vocabulary is not validation of effectiveness. Vocabulary is not validation of effectiveness. Meaning, just because people may sound like they praying real good and stuff like that, that don't mean that that prayer is effective. That don't mean that that energy that went on up to source. That don't mean that it was received, baby. So don't be deceived by vocabulary. Okay? Keep it simple. The Most High is moved by truth lawfully. Prayer is kingdom business. Pray about your promises, not your problems. Legal language. Don't measure prayer by how long it lasted, and start measuring prayer by what it authorized. Did heaven even receive permission to even act on your behalf? How will it even know? And that's another thing with changing the lens. When I stopped looking at things out of pain, a pain lens, and out of peace lens, and embodying that, I actually just started being grateful for the things that were a nuance and a problem to me. Okay, bills. Well, you know what? Instead of, oh my God, I don't know, I was just bill out, one thing after another. I don't know. Once I stopped doing that and actually started, you know what? I am grateful that I am blessed to have the finances to take care of these responsibilities, because that's all that they are. They're small responsibilities. More than anything, I'm actually grateful that I get to travel any and everywhere that I go, that I want to go. I get to enjoy my life anywhere that I go. I get to experience. I am grateful. Thank you for allowing me to experience all of the magical world that you built, that you created. I'm really grateful that I have the finer things in life. I am really grateful that I have multiple commas in my bank account. I am more than grateful that I don't even have to check my bank account, but I still check it, just to smile, to be joyful about it. But I'm grateful that I don't have to worry about money being taken out because of bills. I went from being almost evicted because I couldn't pay bills to actually paying things up and on time. I'm grateful for that. You see how that language is different? You see how you get moved You see how excited you feel and a relief that you feel, that security, that stability, that's in peace. But you have to start innerly knowingly. Yeah. I don't even know how I messed that up. But you have to know internally, basically, is what I'm saying. That it is actually already done, bro. Ashe. See what I'm saying? And when I be spitting that real, they gonna activate my throat chakra, give me that confirmation burp to also let y'all know, like, no, I'm actually activated in my truth. I'm actually aligned. This isn't performance. I'm really giving you the keys and the blueprint to my life. How I operate every day. And I glitch when y'all be pretending. Make sure my light was still on. So, a couple of questions. Did heaven receive permission? Did you stand on the word? Stand on what you said. Are you standing on business? Did you maintain alignment? Okay. So remember, within structure, there's infrastructure. And Dr. Miles Monroe actually gave a couple of anchors, and I'm not gonna dive into them. I'm not gonna dive into them. I'm just gonna give you the 4 anchors. And actually, given that this is day 14 in 31 days of Autonomy Bay, I will put this in the tribalship. I'll put that I'm getting okay. Yeah, I know what I mean by that. So I said what I said. I'm not going into detail of it, but it will be available soon. And again, like these aren't challenges, you know what I'm saying? They're honestly just incubating periods, you know what I'm saying? Inhabitating periods, you know, where you're literally upgrading, and they're timeless, and they all loop. It's an endless loop, so you're able to use it any month, but specifically 31 days, because 3 and 1, that is the foundation. That is the number of 4, and 4 represents foundation. 4 is the angels. 4 is very special to me. And it's interesting because there are 4 anchors, actually, you know what I'm saying, to make this foundation, and also with direction and things like that. So it just is what it is. It's important. And so the infrastructure of the prayer, you know what I'm saying, time. So you got time, place, trigger, and template. The first anchor, meaning that prayer requires time. That's all I got on that. The second anchor is that place matters. So the first anchor, prayer, is time. So prayer requires time. Take the time to pray, period. Second is the place. The place matters. Like I said before, you and source and nobody else. And where you are matters too. You need to be by yourself. There don't need to be nobody else around you. Just like right now, during this recording of the video, there's no one in this house. And as you could tell during the previous videos as well, there hasn't been anyone else with me. Now, Yoda has been present the other 2 times, but like today, it was really meant for me to be by myself and spending time with Source and spending time with the Most High, because here I am right now. And it's me being an example, you know what I'm saying? Because literally place matters, where you are. Now I'm surrounded by silence. I'm surrounded in the stillness, and now I can receive the downloads. Alignment. Third, trigger. Trigger automatically initiates prayer. Something as simple as, thank you. Like I said, thank you for rising me up this AM. Because, baby, you could have been not breathing. Lastly, template, the fourth anchor. Without a template, prayer becomes random. So when you're randomly you're playing, but when you're randomly praying, that you're automatically just setting yourself up for inconsistency, and that's why don't shit ever work out and things don't, stay at a consistent for you, because you don't have a template. It's not the very first thing that you do when you get your day started. You allowing the day to control you instead of you controlling the motherfucking day. You would be controlling the day had you would have allowed the Most High to enact on your behalf for you. So, you know what I'm saying? Everything circles back to you, boo. So if it ain't click by now that you are responsible for you, I don't know what else to tell you, because you have to do this work. It ain't nobody else do shit else for me. I had to do this. All right? Grow up. That's it. Inspiration to lifestyle. Time is law. Time is a law. Psalms 90:12. I say, and I give you this. 10 minutes a day consistently is more powerful than an hour without discipline. "10 minutes a day consistently is more powerful than 1 hour without discipline." Okay. All right, so are you performing or are you actually aligning? Yeah. I appreciate y'all so much. Thank you for vibing with me. And this honestly is so dope because today is the new moon. So there are a lot of great things that I am manifesting. And once the full moon get here on the 29th, the things that I no longer want to carry with me, that actually no longer serves me, will be burned at the stake and cut away. But what is meant for me, I can keep, and I shall keep, and I have kept. Yeah. Thank y'all so much. Leave me a heart or a tree or, hey, you know what I'm saying, a thread or a magic wand. We're multi-dimensional up in here. I appreciate y'all so much. Love you to life. If you need any heart-to-hearts or anything like that, the one way to book me to 𝗕𝗏.com. And everything is in my description, in the description box down below. All right, I'll see y'all next time. Doodles.
One is the loneliest number that you'll ever do.